Hello, hello, hello. I'm sorry I'm late. How are you doing? Let's see if this works. I gotta get, let's see, Chrome running. I gotta quit that. Save. Let's get that over here. So enjoy the beautiful waves for a second while I get this set up. Yes, the live stream is going on now. Let's go over here. There you go. Hello, hello, hello. Oh my gosh. I'm a little bit late. Sorry. I was, let's see. Verify it's you. To continue your session and complete a brief... what a pain. Check your device. Google send a notification to your iPhone Max. I love all the new verification stuff that happens all the time with everything. You have to have a phone that you can verify. It was going to stop my live stream if I didn't verify. How's that? So, oh my gosh. Hey, good to see you all. How are you doing? Boy, have I found some fun stuff to show you guys. So this is a new library. I am so thrilled. Hello, hello, hello. I'm John Limcool. This is my weekly live stream on YouTube. Hopefully you don't see my microphone over here. It's kind of dangling. I'm going to find a better solution to this, but I was kind of busy this week finishing a new library, so I didn't get it done. Let's see, I have it about right there. Point at my mouth. Thank you. Now I can't see the screen. That's okay. You can't have everything, right? Anyway, this is MegaMagic pads. I am so happy with how this turned out. It's probably my favorite library at this point, just because there's some really, really cool new stuff in here. I've known about this in the back of my head, but it was really in the last couple months that I started to develop and go, okay, this is gonna be really special. This is gonna be really fun to bring out. In December, I gotta have a sip of mocha because I'm all dried up here. Sorry to drink in front of all of you guys, but that's just gotta give it. And Taylor is here. Good, thank you for being here, Taylor. Oh, Simeon's got brownies in the oven. Oh my gosh, I'm a big fan of brownies. I haven't had a good homemade brownie in a long time. Anyway, MegaMagic pads is, well, let's start at the top, right? Because we can get into all sorts of crazy stuff. Of course, it's pads. All sorts of pads. And the pads, starting with Alien Landscape down here to Worlds Divided, have been out for 7 years. I first did this almost 5 years, actually 7 years ago, because it was 2015 in September. End of September is when it came out originally for Omnisphere 2. And I think I had the contact version. We'd done the skin and everything for it. And it was just, you know, there was some bonus patches and stuff like that. But basically those 28, is it 28? Yeah, 28 pads made up the core library. I have this little echo in my ears from the feedback from my mics. So, oh, let me see something real quick. I might have Logic set to a long... What does it say? Yeah. Oh, let's make this shorter. This is going to be so much nicer. Ah, there. I had this like 1024 buffer. So it was the echo, and it's just driving me nuts. But this is much better. So the library's been out for a while, but it has required the owning of another plugin to use until now. Now, inside of Guru Sampler in Unify, if you buy Unify, if you go to the Guru Sampler, to the Unify Standard Library, if you get over here to MegaMagic Pads, these are all different libraries that I've created before Unify came out. And there's a small selection of, I think, about 7 or 8 of the pads. My favorites. Battleborn is just one of the most awesome pads on the planet. Pastel Warp for Sad Days. Pianos in the Clouds, I love. Well, those guys have been joined with a whole lot of others. Instead of just that small handful, this now has all of these in the library. So it's everything. Plus all these MegaMagic Pads B for bonus are bonus patches, bonus samples that have really, really nice. These have far more samples than the original core library. The original core library was built around a design of only 6 samples. I think it was E's. I just sampled every E, and that's what it was. Inside of here, I've got basically a diminished chord I've discovered to be this chord is the perfect one for sampling because it makes it into like thirds all the way up and down the keyboard. So that's what I now use for sampling pads and synth sounds to get equal spacing between all the different samples. But these bonus samples that you see here, the retro strings, retro crescendo, really, really nice. The Z string dreams. These are all bonus. These they weren't made 7 years ago. These were made like 4 months ago. So this has been added to this library to differentiate and give some bonus. On top of that, I had to reprogram totally new synth patches because the concept being we have the pads, and in some cases like this, there's a fast version and a slow version. Well, based on whatever synth, if it was Reason, I made custom synth patches for the Reason version for the original library. So here I have had to do the same thing where I go to Guitartronic, to synth, and make something unique and cool that's more synth and not pad. So every pad has a alter ego in the synth category. Right? That's the synth version. If you go up here to Powerful Inspiration, this is the pad version. And in the other versions, you had some real-time controls, but nowhere near what we have in Unify. And so I have programmed a lot of really fun control into every patch. Filter cutoff, sample start, attack and release so you can shape. There's reverb, just gives it nice ambience. On top of the ambience that's in the samples. And then Goosebumps is using Chow Matrix, which is a delay plugin from, what's his name? Jade Chaden, I believe. But it's octave because inside of Chow Matrix, you can set the pitch for the left and the right. I think Yeah, Jatin Chowdhury. That's his name. Jatin Chowdhury is the programmer behind Chow products. We have both Chow, what do we call it? Distortion. Chow tape model, and we have Chow Matrix, both in Unify. And so this gives you the ability to put a Goosebumps on any pad. Right? So you can call up any of these. Add Goosebumps, included for free. On top of that, the other pages give you access to a pump house, distortion, now the pre-distortion is filtering the samples before it hits the distortion. So if you have it all the way down, then all the frequencies go into the distortion, so you get the bass distorted. As I bring this up, I'm removing low end that's not allowed to go into distortion, so it becomes a cleaner distortion. And then the post distortion is the total mix of the distortion being filtered. And then you have your mix over here. So if you mix it totally dry, just bring a little crispy distortion. It's wonderful to add, you know, that distressor kind of vibe to the sound. Okay. On top of this, on page 3, there's more. The Guru Sampler LFO is set up for a pulse, for amp, filter, or pitch. And pitch. If you have this filter and amp, so you have something like 23 knobs on every one of the core patches. So you can just call it up, and when you're ready, add Goosebumps or whatever you want. And then on top of the core library of pads and synths, there's 57 bonus patches. And this is where some new fun things are introduced. We'll start here. Inside of Triggerbox. So back in December, we released a MegaMagic piano, which was my sampling of my mom and dad's piano. And I designed this with Shane, and we put in this probability so that when you do controllers for like sustain pedals, I didn't want it to do it every time. I wanted it to just be kind of random. You could set to its percentage, but it turns out this probability works for notes as well as MIDI CCs for the probability. So if you want, you can use this probability on anything. And so these patches have probability set up. Let the pad fade out, and then there's this really fun little melody stuff happening. We could go over here to the controls and bring it to an even lower percentage of probability, like 3%. And now it filters out like the vast majority of all the notes MIDI box is sitting there spitting out. It's truly like filtering. I mean, if you bring this up to 100%, now, I have 2 levels of randomization. Let's turn off Jitterbox because it's doing another type of randomization. So here is MIDI box with no probability controls. Both MIDI boxes are just playing a 16th note spiccato octave divided to quarter notes. So it's down to like quarter notes or eighth notes. Actually, quarter notes, right? But as I bring this down, every note of the chord has to go through Triggerbox. And Triggerbox now has a probability gating out a certain percentage of the notes. So all the, this is one thing you do with modular synths is you just set up all these different synths that are doing random algorithmic little percentage things. You make sequences and then you put some sort of a probability on it and you get 3 or 4 of those going and all of a sudden you've got these really cool compositions that won't ever repeat themselves. Well, this is what this is doing. It's allowing it to be filtered in this really cool way. 100%. Now, on top of this, I have Jitterbox, and I've shown this before, but Jitterbox, it can do the millisecond to give yourself for like the human timing, set it to like 25 milliseconds or so, 30 milliseconds. It will randomize within this range when you're playing notes to give it human, it's like a drum groove, all of a sudden has human feel. But if you click right here, you'll notice that you have all these other timing options. And these are truly, if I have this in the center at 0 for these like this, then it's truly just eighth notes, and it's just going to delay the whole thing 1/8 note. Let's kill the pad for a second. So bye-bye. So let's do this. Let's set 1. Let's go pan left. And because they're playing the same thing, this should be... Oh. This should be delaying everything. But what I can do is if I give it a range, now it's allowed to randomize plus or minus an eighth note, and I can even set a quantized restrictor on it. If I said 16th notes, now I can have a 16th notes in there. Or 32nd notes. Or 64th notes if you want to do really crazy, glitchy things. Right? But if you set to eighth notes, then it's just going to be plus or minus an eighth note. And if you do that to both of these, it's now never going to be the same because it's randomizing the timing for 2 different things. But what's really cool is they're both coming from actually the same MIDI sequence from MIDIbox. So randomization and probability is in Unify, and here it is. So you could go like that and it won't repeat itself. It's not. What it's doing rhythmically and melodically is different every time. And I have other examples of this. This is a really cool random note example where instead of a sequence, I have each one of these layers equaling a note of a scale. So that if I turn off, well here, let's see this. If I say probability 100%, let's see, how would I do this? Let's see. The easiest way would maybe like to stop MIDIbox for all, there's all these like 8 layers. So you hear it's playing a scale. There's C, see how they have transpose over here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have a major scale of layers. And so if MIDIbox was off for every one of these and Triggerbox was off for every one of these, it would just play the notes of a scale all at once. So here, let's turn this all off so you can hear what it does. It's playing all those notes in the scale. But because of MIDIbox and Triggerbox and a low probability, now you have a whole scale that you could set up for probability. And you bring up the probability slider. So you can do probability in all sorts of cool ways. It's not limited anyway. The MIDI box MIDI file could be your own MIDI file. Or in this case, I think it's actually like a drum just playing eighth notes, going 8, 8, 8, 8. So it's really boring. If you turn off Triggerbox, it's doing all this probability stuff. It's just playing eighth notes. So now that's what it's doing. But Triggerbox with probability, and all of a sudden you get this melody generator. Isn't that cool? So now, and because it's Unify, the beautiful thing with Unify is that this layer, the Guru sampler, could be any plugin you own. So if I want to, I could go through, I could set this up to work with my favorite patches in Zebra. Anything. It's whatever you have in your system to work with is available to be used as the sound source that MIDI box and Trigger box can do its magical probability to. So this library gives you these templates to play with. Here's another really fun one. Let's do the split version. American Beauty. I set up a major 9 scale. See all these layers? I think this one has 12 layers. 2 of the layers are for the right hand for a... And the left hand is doing, sounds like a Thomas Newman film score. And I just have a bass. Let's mute these guys. It's just playing this cool, bubbly, happy major 9 chord. Then you reinforce it with some synth parts. And now you can play film score stuff. Fun. So there's all sorts of ways to use this. I made a whole bunch of bonus patches that give you templates to work with and possibilities. Check out like Living Water. I love this one. Now, I don't think I set up a probability for this because I wanted this. There's Perky Water right next to it, which does have probability. But Living Water has a different design. Because there's all of these layers. And I wanted to show you another fun capability that we have, and that is that we can use layer enable for 8 layers to turn them on and off. The next update to Unify will include the presets that I'm using. If we right click and say load curve presets, you don't have them right now, but I asked Shane to make curve presets for up to 8 divisions so that you could set up 8 layers. So as I'm playing this, I could spin this up. Say 7, the next chords I play is just 1 layer of 8. So in a live show, you could have this thing set up where you had to turn it to everybody and then And if you wanted, you could open this up at this point and say, I need this one to come on when it gets to right here. So you just double click, give yourself a couple points. And now when I get to the point where it would be normally just that one, it's going to actually, let's get this so you can see them all. It should get to where, boom, boom. Wait, where is it? Where is it? There. That one turns on too. So you can edit the curves to make it work. If you want, you can have different combinations as you're spinning in knobs, so that you can go from piano and strings to piano and voices. If you're doing like a church thing, you could have one knob or even your mod wheel or another slider that could go from church and piano organ, piano string, piano voice, all sorts of different combinations in that type of a scenario. Really easy, real time. So Perky Water is the version that has the probability, so you can play it and go to minimal or busy. There's one more that I want to show you in the bonus patches. It's really, I mean, there's so much here that's fun. But Never Alone is another one where I set up something unique that I hadn't done before in a patch. It's two different ways to switch. Now, I just showed you where you can play new keys after you move the layer selector. Here it's knob 3 that's using the layer knobs. So here it's all. Right? And then I can spin this so that the next notes I play is just one layer. And then I can go over here, see everybody again. But I have to play new notes. Well, this is different. This is using the solo mode. And now solo mode is being able to be changed in real time, so you don't play new notes. I just move solo, and it immediately selects one of the layers. And I just wanted to show we could do that, because I hadn't made a patch really that showed that capability. There's really cool rhythmic pulses. And I just did the walkthrough video. Please watch that. That shows lots and lots of tips. But real quickly, we do have this using the LFO that's inside of Guru Sampler. And you can change the shape. To customize the shape however you want. If you want it to be cut off short, you just double click to add points. And if you want, you can bring down the depth so it's more like just a notch. You know? Right? So, I'm going to read comments for a second. You guys are showing up on my iPad. So, I need to get another monitor, and I will at some point, but I don't have that right now to have too. Yeah, so there's motion pads. Yeah, nano pads and nano controls are great. Nano control. Oh, good, Ken. I'm glad you like the library. I wanted to make it special. You know, when you're bringing out something that you brought out before, I want to try to add extra stuff to it. That makes it worthwhile. I will tell you this, there's going to be some bonus patches coming. I have a couple of my dear friends that are accomplished programmers in the pad category. Oh, Abraham, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. No, and the introductory price, I'm trying to make it really fair for this first week. I'm not going to state it on the air, but it's a very nice price for the amount of work I have done to this sucker. To get it for this price is kind of like crazy, but I would just, you know, I I want to appreciate and say thank you to all of you guys that have bought other versions that will grab it for Unify. There are some other things in Unify because we have so many layers. Inside of most synthesizers, I could not do anything like this inside of Omnisphere. Well, I almost could, but I'd have to use harmonium. I'd have to use multiple patches. I'd have to make it into a multi. But these are using 11 layers. So it's like an 11 oscillator synth patch to do this. And it's all right in front of you. I can bring up just one note. I could distort just that one note. I can do all sorts of crazy things you can't do. I can even take this one oscillator. Let's see, which one is it? This one. I go, no, I want this to be with Absinthe. Okay, so now Absinthe. And I could go to my power pack and have it play some cool, one of the like cool pads or something like that. We'll be talking about Absinthe in a little bit. Here's Vapor Cloud. This is the power of Unify, guys, is that you can dissect, you can pull things apart, just bring Absinthe in for one layer, add distortion, just this one note. I mean, that kind of microscopic control over what is happening sound-wise is the joy of my heart for why we have Unify. So we can do all sorts of really fun things like this. There's some other cool chords, major happy places, happy pianos. Right? You can do all that kind of happy stuff. Again, right here are the, let's see if we scroll this up. Right here on each layer is just the transpose settings. I could make my own chords. You can make your own chords. Just go to this transpose setting. If you like the chord, but you want to add to it, say I want to duplicate that layer. So you just say duplicate that layer. If you want to get even more crazy, take some of the layers and pan them. These are all the things you can do in Unify you can't do anywhere else. You can take a 24 voice, one note chord where every note is in a different stereo field position with different effects. I mean, it's insane, truly insane. Soft Spirit piano. The beautiful side of the library. And again, since everything is available, I could go to the NOR, let's say to the Pure library, change the layer mode to Unify Layer and choose any patch. Let's say I want a particle piano. Let's say, which one do we want? Oh, Shaking Shadows might be fun. So it'll take it a second probably to load. And we've added Noir. And I could get rid of the, I could have both. Or I could have just Noir. Mute. So I've replaced the piano with Noir. Then I can add the intimate piano to it. I like that. So you can add your own favorite pianos to any of the patches if you want. I showed this in the video I did. I'll show you guys here because I thought it was pretty cool. If you go to the MegaMagic pads, a really great pad to layer with keys is Inspiration. Powerful Inspiration. Let's say Normal. Powerful Inspiration. It's like a recipe, so do this. Move the mod wheel to the 4 o'clock position. Maybe a little bit more. And then changes to Unify Layer. And now I could use any piano. I could go back to Noir and say, let's go Pure. And let's say, playing at home. And I've added Noir. I go, that didn't work. I could go to the standard library, go to keys, acoustic intimate. Nice. So the pads, they can do the follow along, they can be the stars, they can do all sorts of cool things. So it's a fun library. There's plucks. Let me show you something fun with the plucks. If you go pluck, let's see, go back to normal, to the plucks down here at the end of the list, the Z plucks like Azure. This is using the second layer as the attack. And this is using the attacks that are in the Unify standard library. So you can click here and you can see that you have a lot of different attacks. It's kind of funny to say it, but you got to tune your pluck. Notice how the different frequencies makes a big difference. And when I listen to this, I go, I like the bright element. I don't like the low frequencies. So in a case like this, what's so great with Unify is right here in the effects, you could go to the EQ, add filter max, put it to a high pass filter. Filter out all the low end. Make your own plucks and attacks any way you want. So that's kind of fun. So there you go. You can't get the website to open. Thank you to you guys that are buying it from the website. Watch, I don't know why it's not working for you. I'm sorry. Sometimes we recommend people try a different browser if one web browser doesn't work. It's very rare, but we have had some cases where people have their web browser just isn't working with the site. So might I suggest maybe trying a different browser or something like that? Oh my gosh. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, I'm trying to use my iPad like an iPad, even though it's a computer display. So I'm supposed to go over here and go like this to see the move stuff around. That's too funny. Okay, so the library has 41. We had 28, 35. I keep getting my numbers messed up. It has 35 distinct pads in it to work with, right? And each one of those, there's the pad versions, which is to start with just the chord. Sounds so beautiful. And the real joy is to just go to Unify Layer. Let's add a couple. Add them up. And they work. It's a little loud, so you can hold down Option or Alt and click the volume, and this will turn down the volumes of everybody together, so you get so it's not hitting red. Right? So you want it to be in the right mix to sound good. Back to normal. I'll play some of the other sounds. This is good for minor hollowing. These that have the F and the S, F is fast. And then S is slow, but what's fun with these pads, because there's a strong attack at the beginning, I wanted to do that because the reverb would have it fade out over time so that slow pads would have more harmonic content. That's fading out. Hear it fade out? That's because the reverb is fading out with all that high-end content. If I go like this, you'll hear it for sure. Oh wait, let's bring the attack all the way. Hear that strong attack? That's putting all this energy into the pad. What's going to eventually be a pad, but I designed it to be fast. Because when I set it to like this, and I bring my sample start in a little bit, I've missed that attack, but the effect of the high end from the attack fading out is still there. And you can shape how much of that brightness you want. Change the sample start. To be brighter, or move sample start later. And now that content, that all that bright frequency is gone. So they were designed with this in purpose because I wanted sounds that had some motion and magic. And so the ambience from the reverbs was one thing, but another thing that I did for a number of these was the attack would put something into the reverb which would fade out over time, which make the pads unique. So there you go. Yes, there you have crazy control. You can take from this to and then go over here and add distortion. Get some good schmutz. Really easy to control and shape. Also, don't forget on page 3, you've got EQ. To further shape the high end, low end. So you can shape it to fit however it needs to sit in your mix from this, you know? Yeah, so there was some benefits to having it in Unify, so I really wanted to try to make sure I covered all those and giving you guys as much control as I could over them. And again, the synth ones, as you go through each one, it's just going to be different. I didn't follow any set algorithm that everyone, a lot of these libraries, you know, you buy it and you get to like something like this and it's like synth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they're all they're the same. It's just, they just changed the waveform and we didn't do that. Everyone is different, unique. It's got that cool attack in it. All different Battleborn. Move the sample start. Good stuff. And then the bonus stuff just gets crazy. Here's some of the other one note and things. Isn't that fun? Then knob 2. I mean, you could build a whole song just over this one thing without playing any other notes. I mean, I've heard tracks that have less than this in them. All I gotta do is go over here to the standard library, drum. Let's add a kick. Let's add a hat. Let's do the little upbeat 909. Or they're down here at the end. See here, I'm gonna hold down Control and Option to pop the hi-hat out so I can just open it up without having to go to the layers. Since it was just 909 day a couple day goes, a day or two ago. Let's do this, let's do something kind of cool. Let's go like a high pass. 16th notes. And then we could go, let's see, where else could we go? Let's go to BPM bass. Do I have any bass? Oh, we could go to Cloud City. It's got some good BPM basses. Cloud City. Let's go to Tech FM. And this beta has a bug where every time I load a layer, it's panned to the far right. So, it's all tempo synced and ready to do stuff like this. Oh, Kristen, that's very nice. Just fun to play with. It's fun to have some place where you don't have to like do any more than just load patches and they all just work in fun ways. So yeah, let's see here. A couple other things in the bonus things to show you guys. There's quite a few here that I am tickled to show you. Chill in the Moonlight is a nice pad. Now this has Triggerbox doing probability, but I didn't set up any knob for it. So if you wanted to set up probability, this is how you would do it. Let's say that we didn't have Triggerbox set with anything, right? So let's bypass Jitterbox. Let's do it from scratch. Okay? So I'm gonna hold down Option and click Init. which deletes everything but the first layer. So we'll keep the first layer. Let's get rid of these guys so that I have a synth. Let's get it shaped the way I want it to be. And it's playing a MIDI box file. Now, these MIDI box files, set it to Unify Standard Library, and believe it or not, there's a couple different places you can look that are really fun. But the drum single part MIDI grooves are great because it's just like a hi-hat or a kick, eighth notes. Let's just choose that. Another place to look is inside of Unify 1.8, I added some MIDI files from the BBC Discover Station library. So you can add these. I find something really steady that's consistent. Like that is really fun. Okay, so you have a MIDI box and a synth part. And this could be any synth plugin you own. Let's keep it a Guru sampler, keep it simple right now, right? And let's kill all the effects. Okay, next you go here to add from Unify Standard, Creative, and you go to Triggerbox. You want that to be next in the line. And then you can say show details, and you want to, the preset that I would load is delay note on eighth note. And what that does is it delays everything that comes in by an eighth note. But go to right here where it says note on triggers the output note where it goes through this. Instead say here, pass input note to output note. And now it does the same thing as it did before, but probability is in play. If I set to 4%, all those 16th notes that are playing, it's only letting 4% of them through. Okay? So, now if I wanted to control this inside of Unify, I could go over here. Let's say I don't need sample start for this. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to say initialize. I'm going to say link parameters. Give it the full range. So you click the second box. Go instrument. Right here to Guru's, not Guru sampler, but down to the bottom, MIDI effect, trigger box, probability. Boom, done. Now I could name this, double click probability. Play a chord, bring down probability. To where I want it to be. Now go over here to Unify layer. Choose a pad from somewhere. Done. Now you have a cool probability sequence. That's how easy it is to set up. Now, if you want to take it farther, you can go over here. You can say creative and use Jitterbox, which does our timing, changes to the eighth notes, give it the plus or minus an eighth note. Instead of arbitrary, which means it's just going to be random, so it's just all over the place like a, true random modular. This quantizes it to simple note times, eighth. So now even at 100%, this is getting randomized. Here's without it. But because Jitterbox, every note is getting randomized, even in a chord played at once, different notes can be randomized at different times. Now it's random. And as you bring down probability, now you get to these melodies that will take forever till they repeat. And remember how I said you could use anything. So instead of Guru Sampler, since it's Absinthe Day, let's say Absinthe. Go to the browser, to the Plugin Guru Power Pack. By the way, Plugin Guru Power Pack for Absinthe, I believe I have it at $20 until the end of the month. It's really unfortunate. We got to talk about this a little bit. You can't buy Absinthe anymore from Native Instruments. It's been removed from their list of plugins. It's not inside. Yeah, but anyway. So I've got Pluck Rain Harp. Now this probability with MIDI box into trigger box into Jitterbox is doing its thing to Absinthe. Right? So any synth plugin you own can be in this spot. Right? So any of these that you go to, let's say that we call up one of the BPM patches, set this to normal. I'll show you how easy this is. So go, I think a good one to use probably would be Perky Water. And you could hold down Option and click Init. And just like that, you have a single layer with probability. And then at this point, you could go in here to Guru Sampler, change anything you want, change to any plugin you want. Say, no, I want to use Omnisphere for this. So Daniela's favorite plugin, but we can use any synth plugin we own. So we get this, and it takes a second to start up the engine and power it up. Even on a Mac Studio, it takes a while. Let's see here. So we could go plugin Guru, maybe like Omniverse. I've got some good plucks down here. Pads. Maybe like a synth. There. Go over here. Let's sync everybody up and go to the amp envelope release. It works. Then go back to MegaMagic pads. Go to any pad. Let's say maybe, oh, Delicate Dance would be nice. So set this to Unify Layer. Delicate Dancer. You know? So any synth can be used. That's a quick way to get into the random probability stuff, is just to use a patch. Hold down Option. Again, the steps. Go down here to ZBPM. Where is it at? Perky Water. Make sure it's set to normal to start. Oh. Oops. Let's see. We want to use... There we go. Crashes do happen from every now and then. It hasn't been for a while, right? That hasn't happened in a long time. MegaMagic pads. Go down here to the Perky Water. Hold down Option and or Alt on a PC and click Init. And there you go. Single layer. And probability is working. Right? So that's the fast way to use these as a template. Now, I don't have the random timing after trigger box. If you want to add that, just simply go Creative, Jitterbox, go here to 8th note, min max, simple note times, and quantize minimum of 8th notes. And now it's random. Good times. So there you go. Yes. Yes, hello again. Had to drop off for a minute. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's talk about the other issue. So anyway, MegaMagic pads. The idea being for 1 week it's at a stupid price. And then after that week, it's at its normal introductory price. I'm doing the stupid week for everybody that owns MegaMagic pads. This is your chance, and everybody gets to take advantage to get it at this stupid price. But it's I'm okay with it. It's okay. I don't need, well, I need, we won't talk about money. Anyway, but the other thing to talk about after the sale has ended, all that stuff, is Absinthe. Oh, there's a few other things to mention too. My friend, Sound Author, has made an incredible library for Hive. Let me see if I can come over here and call up here we go. Let's see, view. I wanted to show this because it's a great library. I'll show the library here for a second. Kinesis is a really, really cool library made by Brian Lake, who goes by Sound Author. Let me show you this. I've got a couple friends that bought this as well. They're like, dude, did you know about this library for Hive? So it's really good. Go Hive. Love Hive. Such a great synth. Go to presets, and down here is Kinesis. My gosh. There's so much to this. He pulls out like literally every secret capability that there is inside a Hive. Let's say does all the generative kind of stuff. So you can study and see what he's doing. He's get into the random timing and all sorts of things that we can't get into quite the same way with Unify. But Hive can. Just deeply in here with I think he's using the random LFO for the timing, so it jumps up and down. But we could layer that. Let's take this and let's go Unify layer. Let's add some perky water to it. His is purely random, so there's random notes happening in there and stuff like that. But there's so much, 128 patches. What he's doing is just mind-blowing that this is coming from Hive with no samples. It's all synthesis. Just beautiful. So you can study these and have your mind blown. So if you need cool patches for Hive, it's funny. People say, why are you promoting other libraries? You should be only, and it's like, no. If you want to buy my library, you'll buy my library. I want to tell you about everything that I know that's cool in music technology. I'll tell you about my libraries first because that's how it should be, but I want to share news of everything else that's cool, especially for friends of mine like Brian, that he's a beta tester for Unify. He's a wonderful guy. And to make patches like this, you guys should check them out if you are a fan of deep synthesis, because just really cool. Isn't that cool? There you go. So, if you want a cool library for Hive, I highly recommend this library. Where'd it go? Kinesis. Yeah, really, really cool. So, check that out at the Uhi website. That I was hoping, I was a few minutes late because I have been unifying the Absinthe Power Pack. I'm almost done, but I didn't get 100. It's not done. But I think by the end of the day, if you log into the Plugin Guru website, there will be a new version of the Power Pack for Absinthe 5 if you've bought the library to download, which will include a Unify version of all the patches so that you can install it in Unify. get access to this library. It's such one of my favorite libraries that I've ever done. I love Absinthe. I started an Absinthe users group on Yahoo 21 years ago. We did all sorts of patch competitions. Now, I also want to share, check this out. I showed this last week. We're loading Absinthe into a native application. Unify is running in native mode. It's not running in Rosetta mode, but because of the next update, it's not out yet. In fact, I don't think Shane is here right now because he's in the middle of moving and setting up computers at his house that they have found to move into in Nova Scotia. So we'll get the update out once Shane is settled and we feel that we're good with the release. And there's a few things, if you notice, loading layers and the pans to the right that we need to fix. Those are pretty easy fixes. But one of the cool things about it is it will load non-native plugins into applications that are native, but it's not the audio unit version of the plugin. Like all these patches are calling upon the VST2 version of Absinthe. Absinthe over here. Let's see, where is it? Absinthe here is the VST2. That's the version that we have loaded. And we still can load it into native applications as a VST. So all these patches will work. You can. And I don't know what the reasoning is. I'm not even going to try to guess what it was that made Native Instruments think that they could, taking a plugin that looks like this, that they haven't updated in 10 years, bringing it up, I guess would be a lot of work and cost and so forth. I think it's costing them a lot more in upset customers right now. We'll see how it goes long term. A lot of people are not happy that this synth, which was made by, literally this is one of the very first commercial software synthesizers you could buy 22 years ago for your computer that was software based. It was one of the true early synths. I was a beta tester with Brian. I made patches for Absinthe version 1. I made actually a library of patches that was released by Native Instruments at one point for Absinthe 2 many years ago. That was like, 15, 16 years ago. But anyway, they've decided to no longer continue to update or support and just lobbed it off from their Native Instruments. And the irony of it is that they're announcing the Native Instruments complete bundles, which are not available for 20 days. So this news is coming out, pre-order and all this stuff, 20 days before it's available with this information. So I don't know, it just doesn't seem like a very smart move on their part. So needs much more cost to them to put to M1. Oh my gosh, Daniela. Don't get into trouble over a plugin. I mean, let's put it this way. It's a blessing in some respects because Brian is free to make his own new synth with what he designed for Absinthe. So, Plasmonic is a seriously mind-blowing synthesizer Brian released, but he did it in a way that was kind of like away from the Absinthe territory. And let me show you a little bit about Absinthe and what makes it unique, why it's been a favorite of mine for so long. Korg released a synthesizer similarly with wave shapers called the O1W many, many years ago. And having wave shapers inside of After Samples, we found took all sorts of acoustic samples and gave them life. You could have dynamic things change in the wave shapers. And so I use the wave shapers in all sorts of really cool ways to make weird harmonic modulation. Let's say if we go File, New Sound, just going here, add the wave shaper. It's a type of FM, right? But then you have the ability to choose any waveform, including noise. Or they have cloud. The other thing that was so fun with Absinthe, even from the early days, on the effect page, the effects are weird. They're not reverb and delay and EQ like everybody else has. There's pipe and multi-comb, which has resonant comb delays. And so you could use these to make really, really unique patches. And so I have a library called the Power Pack, which, you know, if you go through the library for Absinthe, it's all these weird patches. Everything had to be weird in some way. And so I saw a need to immediately make a cool library that had cool basses, BPM basses. Just go through the factory library and try to find a dark bass. It's impossible. There's not one in there. So this library made these types of things, and then I went crazy with all sorts of other things like Pulsation Nirvana. Now, one of the cool things with Absinthe is on the Perform page, there's 16 real-time controls you can set up. That can do things like filters like everybody else, but this is where it gets insane, because if you go to the envelopes and you go to the frequencies, you'll notice that each one of these, if you click them, can be modulated. And I set them up to be using sliders to change certain real-time controls. So you could go to the Perform page, take a downbeat, make it upbeat, or both. So if I go like this and you look at the effect or the envelope page, it's down to start. If you reverse it, now it's the opposite. It's modulated and inverted it for, I think it's the master filter. See how it's these little parts have moved if I bring performance back to here. And for the envelope, it's changed. So every one of the segments of multi-rhythmic envelopes can be modulated. You can add LFOs. You could do things with these envelopes that you can't do with any other envelope on any other synthesizer I've ever seen. I've never seen envelopes like this incorporated, even in like FM8, so forth. They have some things like this, but to have LFOs and controls, all these things are things that you just, they didn't do anywhere else. You could have the shape and LFO be this. I mean, so you could just crazy things happening with it. It's beautiful for that stuff. It made really, really cool pads. I have some, let's see if I go over here and I go to this page here. I like to see it this way because then I can alphabetize it and go to pads. Some of these like, let's see, Vapor Cloud. Just get all this crazy stuff because there's wave shapers available, which can also be ring mod or cloud or frequency shift per oscillator. But then there's a wave shaper that's a global wave shaper and a global filter. before the effects. So you can get just some crazy, unique, beautiful sounds out of Absinthe that this is kind of fun for the... all sorts of stuff. So my library for this came out really, really fun. It's a combination of waveforms, but I also have a lot of the patches using samples. So like this. It's using a sample. I mean, this is so cryptic that there's no loop points. They would take a lot of work to moderize this and make it, you know, really cool and on the cutting edge for where it should be. And Native Instruments just decided not to do that. And it's unfortunate they did that. So I think, you know, I think Absinthe will live on, but it's not going to be through the legal channels, right? Which is really too bad. So this library at my website, let's go over here, say new. It's always challenging to try to do this on a live stream on an iPad. So here's the website. If you go to products, Native Instruments for the FM8 Power Pack, Absinthe Power Pack is the one that will soon say that it's been unified. It's not there yet, but special price of $20 until October 1st for this library. I love this library. It came out, I don't know if you'll see this. So show, let me see. Yeah. Such an old track. It's like too much bass. Turn down the bass. Okay, I'll turn down the bass. Oh, but all these old tracks, I mean, my gosh. These were just playing different patches and stuff like that, but Love and Power. I mean, these are songs I literally wrote like probably 15 years ago or so. So anyway, if you want to get this library for Absinthe, it is available later tonight. It will be available in a unified format for Unify. I'm really close to being done with it. I will note there's a weird thing with the pitch bend. I don't know what is going on, but I call up the patches. If I move pitch bend, the volume goes away. And so I need to find out what's happening. Because if you just call it up, it should work. Like some things it doesn't. Like it's fine. Other ones, okay, it's gone. So I'm gonna see if, I've been looking at, trying to see if there's any information I'm sending to Absinthe that it's making it do it. It doesn't make sense. I can't figure it out. So, but anyway, there's a ton of stuff in here. The BPM stuff is fun. Trying to sound like a guitar player. If you look at the envelopes for this, it's really cool. Envelopes. Look at that. So lots of crazy envelope. It's very easy for things to get out of time with the envelopes, how they work. I mean, you know, Native Instruments, they should not have just sat on this for 10 years. That's the tragedy of this whole thing. Anyway, check this out. One note. Let me open this up so you can see the envelope for this. I love this one. Not that one for pitch. Here we go. Here we go. So check this out. See this melody? It keeps going. I don't know how to change. I mean, I sat there and made these envelopes. Sick puppy. So it's a fun library. There's some fun, crazy stuff in there. The Rude Bertha. I love the Now What Do I Do? And it's all synced to tempo. So if you go over here to BPM stuff, say added drums, go to here to drums. Chili Love. So it's all synced. It all works really well together. It's really fun. Okay, so any questions? Is it all the one synth? Yeah, that was all just Absinthe, all by itself. If I go to Absinthe Power Pack, I think you're asking about that patch I did. It's just Absinthe by itself. BPM synth, right? Or pad. Only at night is what it's called. It was a... And there's 3 oscillators. I love this because the pitchy G's and this... And the second one is... And then the third oscillator is doing the... Take it down an octave. Very, very fun. I made a similar patch to this for the Power Pack. I don't think I even have it here for Massive, called Checkmate, that I also love. That's like one of those big things like that. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, well, let's wrap up. If there's any questions. Oh, thank you, Henrik. Thank all of you guys that are buying the library. Sincerely appreciate it. I appreciate so much your support, helping me pay royalties to everybody. That's what these sales of this library is going to. Is I have quite a few people that contribute to the site, and so royalties or checks are going out to everybody. So that's really nice. So thank you. Thank you, Jesse. Jesus loves you too, my friend. Hey, so shout outs from wherever you are. Can we have a lock in? What's a lock-in? I don't understand what lock-in is. What is a lock-in? I'm trying to see what a lock-in is. Yeah, I don't know what a lock-in is. Here in America, that's not totally clear. So explain to me what a lock-in is. Let me see if I come over here. I can get to type shout out from... Oh, start Oh, all night. Oh. Not today. I had never done a 24-hour one, but I've seen that is something that sometimes people are crazy and try to do. I haven't tried to do that yet. Shout out from the Netherlands. Cool. From Sweden. Good to see you, Henrik. Oh my gosh. Oh, price lock-in. Yeah, see, we're trying to figure out, us Americans are trying to figure out what lock-in stands for. I think it means to be like a 24-hour show or something like that. Is that what that means? Dave will explain to us at some point, hopefully. I think it's a start on my... lock-in means pub shuts its doors after time and care... Oh, I see. Oh, okay. Well, the doors are always open here because it's YouTube and I don't know how to lock the doors. And I'm going to just call it short for the day, but I mean, I'm going to call it the normal 90 minutes. Maybe we'll do a longer extended with shut in because it's nighttime there in the UK, right? Here it's 1:30. I want to go have my little sandwich for lunch and stuff like that. So good to see you all. Oh, there's making music. MFA. Hey, in Quebec, good to see you, my friend. In France, Santa Cruz says, hola. Mucho gusto. Gracias. From Milwaukee. I like that lock-in. That's a cool concept. I should do a library called Lock-in or something like that. That'd be fun. There's JX3D, Omni mode on in Denmark. Cool. Well, thank you all for joining. It's good to see you as always. Such a cool library. Again, the Absinthe Power Pack will be available later today. MegaMagic Pads is available right now to get all these really, really cool library patches. I've thought of doing lock-ins, but, you know, starting at my time, which is when you guys are already asleep. So it'd have to be maybe we'll do a 6-hour hang. I don't know. We just have to think what we would be doing for 6 hours, you know. There's a lot we could do. I could be making bonus patches, but, you know, a lot of you guys would get tired and go away. About 90 minutes, I think, is the limit for most people to just hang on and hang in here and stuff like that. So, yes, deep discount is in place for a week. Now you can lock yourself into your studio. How's that? Lock into your studio. Get your pads on. Get your pads going. All right. Well, thank you all again for the support and for hanging for such a long time. It's very much appreciated. And I will see you guys in next week's live stream where we'll get together and do it all again. Don't forget also the really cool library for Hive from my friend Brian. All right. Cheers, guys. See you later. Bye. Go stop. Oh, there we go. Stop. Bye. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Stop streaming. There we go. There we go. There it is. All right. Be well, everybody. See you later.